Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I begin, I'd like to recite Surah Al-Fatiha ma'a salawat for the souls of the martyrs in Palestine. Fatiha ma'a salawat. Allahumma salli ala. Inshallah, tonight I will be reciting a few verses from the Holy Quran. I will be reciting from Surah Al-Baqarah, starting from ayah 145 until 107, and then I will be reading the translation. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولئن أتيت الذين أوتوا الكتاب بكل آية ما تبعوا قبلتك وما أنت بتابع قبلتهم وما بعضهم بتابع قبلة بعض ولئن اتبعت أهواءهم من بعد ما جاءك من العلم إنك إذا لمن الظالمين. الذين آتيناهم الكتاب يعرفونه كما يعرفون أبناءهم وإن فريقا منهم ليكتمون الحق وهم يعلمون. الحق من ربك فلا تكونن من الممترين. ولكل وجهة هو موليها فاستبقوا الخيرات أينما تكونوا يأت بكم الله جميعا إن الله على كل شيء قدير. ومن حيث خرجت فول وجهك شطر المسجد الحرام وإنه للحق من ربك وما الله بغافل عما تعملون. ومن حيث خرجت فول وجهك شطر المسجد الحرام وحيث ما كنتم فولوا وجوهكم شطره لئلا يكون للناس عليكم حجة إلا الذين ظلموا منهم فلا تخشوهم واخشوني ولأتم نعمتي عليكم ولعلكم تهتدون. كما أرسلنا فيكم رسولا منكم يتلو عليكم آياتنا ويزكيكم ويعلمكم الكتاب ويعلمكم الكتاب والحكمة ويعلمكم ما لم تكونوا تعلمون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات. And now for the translation. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. And wert thou to bring every sign to those who were given the book, they would not follow thy qibla. Thou art not a follower of their qibla, nor are they followers of one another's qibla. Wert thou to follow their caprices after the knowledge that has come to thee, thou wouldst be one of the wrongdoers. Those unto whom we have given the book recognize it as they recognize their children, but a group of them knowingly conceal the truth. The truth is from thy Lord, so be thou not among the doubters. Everyone has a direction toward which he returns. Everyone has a direction toward which he turns. So vie with one another in good deeds. Wheresoever you are, God will bring you all together. Truly God is powerful over all things. And whencesoever thou goest out, turn thy face towards the sacred mosque. Indeed, it is the truth from thy Lord, and God is not heedless of what you do. And whencesoever thou goest out, turn thy face towards the sacred mosque. And wheresoever you may be, turn your faces toward it, so that the people may have no argument against you, not even those among them who do wrong. Fear them not, but fear me, and so that I may complete my blessing upon you, and that haply you may be guided. Even as we sent among you a messenger from among you, who recites our signs to you, and purifies you, and teaches you the book and wisdom, and teaches you what you knew not. So remember me, and I shall remember you. Give thanks unto me, and disbelieve not in me. O you who believe, seek help in patience and prayer. Truly God is with the patient. And say not of those who are slain in the way of God, they are dead. Nay, they are alive, but you are unaware. And we will indeed test you with something of fear and hunger and loss of wealth, souls and fruits, and give glad tidings to the patient. Those who, when affliction befalls them, say, truly we are God's, and unto him we return. They are those upon whom come the blessing from their Lord and compassion, and they are those who are rightly guided. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim. Once again, for the souls of the martyrs of Palestine, please recite Surah Al-Fatiha preceded by a salawat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Please join me in remembering the martyrs of Gaza and the West Bank and Palestine with Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أنبياء الله جميعا وعلى سيدهم وخاتمهم حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما سيدنا ومولانا الإمام الحجة بن الحسن المهدي المنتظر عجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهل مخرجه وجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تحسبن الله غافلا عما يعمل الظالمون إنما يؤخرهم ليوم تشخص فيه الأبصار. And do not suppose that God is heedless of the crimes committed by wrongdoers and aggressors. He only grants them reprieve until the day of judgment. We have gathered tonight to commemorate and pay tribute and eulogize the innocent souls, thousands of souls that perished over the last 10 or 11 days. Men, women, children, civilians, babies. These souls perished unjustly for no reason but to commit mischief and arrogance on earth. Those people have been paying the price with their lives, with their blood, with their souls, not just for the last 12 days, for the last over seven decades of this ugly, illegal occupation and systematic and barbaric dehumanization, demonization of the Palestinian people, trying to wipe them out, trying to say there is no such a place called Palestine, there is no such people called Palestinians. But those people are resisting. Those brave mothers, children as young as 2 and 3 years old, they say, this is our land, we are not going to go anywhere. If you pour missiles and bombs over our heads, this is our land. We die here. We die with the pride rather than leaving with the humiliation. They are staying there, and they will stay. And no power today, no military power in the world today can take the Palestinians out of their native land, their indigenous land, their genuine land, their historic land. We pay tribute to them. We salute those mothers who raised heroes. Heroes who look first and foremost to the akhirah, not the dunya. And they are proud to receive martyrdom and shahada, defending their integrity, their dignity, their existence, their principles, their faith, their land, their people. They are proud. They don't get tired. They don't get tired. We salute these souls. They targeted them only because they are resisting occupation. Look at the double standard. Ukrainians are considered heroes because they are resisting the Russians. They are defending their lands. So they deserve help, and they are encouraged, and they are supplied with billions. Today the president said billions of dollars going to Ukraine and Israel. So they are giving them weapons, they are giving them money, recognition, because they are resisting the Russian, so-called Russian occupation. So this is very legitimate. But when it comes to Palestinian, no. This is terrorism. When you defend your land, your family, your kids, your farm, your trees, this is an act of terrorism. You don't deserve life. You have to be wiped out. Nobody is going to recognize you. And you have to be murdered. You don't deserve life. This is hypocrisy. This is what we witness today in this world. It's amazing. In the history of this life, I have not seen an occupier, an aggressor, who occupies a land of others for over 70 years, almost 80 years now. And then he presents himself as a victim, as an abused and the only victim in this life. And then he cries. While he's murdering innocent men and women, he cries because he's the victim. Do you see the deception? Do you see the lies? And these lies, this book, 1400 years ago, this book, and before this book, the Torah, 4,000 years ago, they mentioned some of these lies that took place against the prophets, their own prophets, when they murdered their prophets in cold blood, and they fabricated lies against them. The journey of deception and lies continue through generations. It continues through generations. And this is the trait of every aggressor, every wrongdoer in this life, every zalim in this life, every wrongdoer, be it an individual or a government or an army or a country. They murder, they abuse, and then they portray themselves as poor victims. They have no place. This is the only land we have. Where do we go? Where do we go? Go back home. You came from Russia, from Ukraine, from Europe, from other countries. Still you have properties there. You have home, you have a land, you have a dual citizenship. Where do you go? Does your book say steal the land of others? Confiscate the land? Destroy their homes? It doesn't happen anywhere. People who lived there for generations now, they bulldoze their homes and they leave them in the middle of nowhere, and they ask them to evacuate their homes and their cities and go and live in a desert outside, in the Egyptian desert. They are asking them to leave Gaza now, go to the Egyptian desert. And then they come and build above that destroyed home and land their settlements. And they bring people from outside. People from all over the world, they are invited to come and live on that confiscated land. This is democracy. This is the Israeli democracy. Israel that considers its army to be the most moral army in the world. I don't know whether to cry or laugh. I really don't know. Sometimes I'm bewildered at these sentences. Should I cry? Should I laugh? I don't know what my reaction would be. The only moral army in the world is bombing hospitals and mosques, and today a church, Orthodox church, and orphanages, and the marketplace, and schools, and shelters, and ambulances, and aid workers are being murdered by the most moral army. Most moral army. Is this a moral army? Is this morality? Morality is to target civilians, target women and children, target people who sought refuge in a hospital. People go to the hospital to receive a treatment, to receive care, to recover, to get some medicine. The hospital is a sacred place, sacred in all religions, in all cultures, with all nations. Nobody hurts a hospital. When you pass by a hospital, you cannot raise your voice. You cannot horn. You have to be careful the way you walk. And it's easy for this moral, the most moral army in the world, to bomb a hospital. And then they lie. They blame others. A continuous chain of lies. Do you remember a few months ago when they killed in cold blood, they murdered Shireen Abu Aqla, the Palestinian American journalist? Do you know? Do you remember? Then they say the Palestinians murdered her. It's a history of lies and deception. They don't stop. These lies do not stop, one after the other. When they cannot justify their crimes, immediately they point to the others. And my friends, lies and arrogance and deception, they go hand in hand. It's a package. It's a package. Someone who is arrogant becomes a liar, and the liar becomes a racist. It's a package. It's a package. They work together. One of the most dangerous convictions, one of the most ugly convictions and beliefs in this entire life is to believe that you are the chosen people of God. And once you believe you are the chosen people, it means you are above others. You are above the law. Nobody can hold you accountable. You can do whatever you want, wreak havoc in the land, destroy the land, murder, commit crimes against the humanity, and nobody can say to you why. Nobody. Nobody can hold you accountable or responsible. This is the result of thinking, believing that you are the chosen people of God. This is what happens. This is the result. Rather than being more humble, more forgiving, more merciful, more accommodating, you become arrogant. And then you commit the crimes. And nobody, and if a person dare to tell you, to criticize you, immediately you tell him you are anti-Semitic. Shut your mouth. It's a crime. This is another arrogance, another type and level of arrogance. God says in this book, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُ اتَّقِ اللَّهِ أَخَذَتْهُ الْعِزَّةُ بِالْإِثْمِ. When you go to a tyrant, an oppressor, a wrongdoer, a murderer, and you tell him, stop, this is wrong. Rather than listening to you and saying, yes, you are right, you are reminding me. Thank you so much. Rather than accepting what he says, accepting his criticism, his advice, on the contrary, you backfire. He backfires and he says, I'm doing the right thing. أخذته العزة بالإثم. He's going to be more arrogant and more insistent on his crimes. My friends, let me tell you something. And I've said this so many times here, but it's okay, I'm going to repeat it again. We have no problem, we as Muslim community, Muslim Ummah worldwide, we have no animosity or a problem with Jews, as people and as religion. We don't have a problem with that. We have a problem with racism. We have a problem with occupation, illegal occupation. If this illegal occupation takes place by a Muslim, we would still condemn him and criticize him. We don't look at people's religion. We look at people's conduct, people's character. If they do good, even if they don't share religion with us, this is what our Imam says, our leader Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. He says, الناس صنفان إما أخ لك في الدين أو نظير لك في الخلق. All this mankind around you, the 7 billion people, are either your brethren in faith, they share the faith with you, or they are your equal, your partner in a creation, in a humanity. So they deserve respect. We do not judge people because of their faith. Neither we judge people because of their race or color. What is important is the character. So we have no problem with Jews as people or faith. We have a problem with this ugly occupation, with these crimes against the humanity. And we are not going to remain silent. And I'm going to say this to our friends. There are many thousands of Jews today in New York, in Washington, D.C., in LA, in Europe, who are standing with Palestine, standing with the victims of Gaza. And we salute them for being genuine, for being real human being, for not being prejudiced, for putting humanity and justice and truth above race. We salute them. This is a human cause. This is a human cause. We cannot see people being murdered, no matter what identity, what religion, what nationality, what color they have. We should not see this. Many of you remember, and you were with me, some of you were with me here, when Jews in America, they were targeted during the reign of the last president. We went to a synagogue here in Irvine. On Saturday, I took a delegation of my sisters and brothers. We went there and we showed them solidarity and support, and we worshiped with them. Do you remember this or not? We have no problem with Jews being Jews. We only have a problem with the occupiers, with the wrongdoers, with the murderers, with those who have no human soul, with those who call the Palestinians animals. They call them animals. They don't deserve life. This is exactly what the war minister said 12 days ago. He said, those are animals, referring to the Palestinians. This is the problem. It's a moral problem. It's not political, believe me. This conflict, it's not religious, neither religious nor political. It's moral. It's moral conflict between the people of truth and the people of falsehood. Between a group. And this is why today you see those who support the truth are Jews, Christians, Muslims, atheists, agnostics. They stand with the truth. And those who support falsehood are again people, some of them are Jews, some of them could be Muslims, some of them could be Christians, some of them are atheists. Two groups. This is the story of this life. This life from day one was divided into two groups. One group who supports truth and justice, the other group who insists on falsehood and racism and prejudice. And Israel cannot commit these crimes without the support of this country and this government. They cannot. They get the green light and the blessings and the encouragement and the motivation from the White House. And now America, rather than sending ships, humanitarian ships, hospital ships, to evacuate, to reach out to those who are bleeding, what are they sending now to the region? Aircraft carriers, warships. Why? To save the victims? To bury the dead ones? Are they sending nurses and doctors? This is what is happening. This is what is happening. Rather than telling the truth and being courageous and putting the principles before interests. This is the test. And it happens every single day, my friends. Every single day. We face this test. Where do you stand? You stand with your narrow interests, so you stay in power for another 4 years? Or you condemn, as someone did in the State Department yesterday, a brave man who quit. Let this post and position go to hell if it leads me to be an ugly person, to endorse dhulm and wrongdoing. I don't want this position forever. We have to live free. The life is made of a number of days, believe me. Imam Ali says, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ عَدَدُ أَيَّامٍ. You are made of a number of days, only number of days. Live with honor, with dignity, with principles. Don't sacrifice these values for the sake of a position or money or influence. Don't do that. This is a test for America, a test for the whole world. And alhamdulillah, millions of people around the world now, not just Muslims, non-Muslims are standing with the truth, with the victims, defending them, supporting them, praying for them. This is the least we can do. My friends, I know I'm one of you. I'm a member of this community. And I know what befalls us, all of us, hurts all of us. We are deeply hurt. We are deeply wounded. Not only the eyes is crying, the heart is bleeding too. The heart is bleeding too. We are grieving. But don't forget, in the midst of this grief, in the midst of this pain, don't lose hope in God. Don't. God wants you to pray to Him, to petition to Him, to raise your head and your hands and your heart to Him while your heart is bleeding, your heart is wounded. And say to Him, Ya Allah. This is the meaning of أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. Oh God, who rushes, who answers, who pays attention to the bleeding heart, to the distress call of someone who's completely helpless. But he's not hopeless. There is a difference. Sometimes we are helpless, but we should not be hopeless. Because we have God, and God is observing, and God is seeing, and God is witnessing. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَبِالْمَرْصَادِ. And the verse that I started in the beginning, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلِ الظَّالِمُونَ. Never suppose, never imagine, never think, never suspect that God is heedless. He doesn't pay attention, never ever. God's policy and strategy is to grant what? Reprieve. He grants reprieve, but He does not forget. إِنَّمَا يُؤَخِّرُهُمْ لِيَوْمٍ تَشْخَصُ فِيهِ الْأَبْصَارِ. He is granting them reprieve till the day of accountability, the day of judgment. we gathered for this candlelight vigil tonight. I thank all of you, inshallah. We see you tomorrow in Salat al-Jumu'ah. We have to, this is Laylatul Jumu'ah, the night of prayers, the night of petitioning. Please, 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 take 5 minutes of your time, wherever you are, whether before going to bed or after waking up before Fajr. 5 minutes of your time. And say, oh Allah, you are witnessing what is happening there. And you are the real superior power. You are the real superpower in this universe. We want you to judge. We want you to take action. We want you to help. We want you to aid and support and defend and protect those children who lost their parents, those mothers who lost their children, those people who lost everything. They lost their homes. Until 3 days ago, 55 families in Gaza, 55 families completely were wiped out. The whole family. No one survived. 55 families, entire family, the entire family. The entire family. Ask Allah. Tell Him, Allah, I need to see your justice. I need to see your miracle now. I need to see your power now. I need to see how you stand and show the whole world how you stand with the oppressed against the oppressors. And let's conclude with dua, and after the dua, inshallah, we will proceed outside for the candlelight vigil, and also we're going to listen to some of our bravest young generation leaders that we have in this community, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. Those are our leaders. And we have to be brave and we have to speak the truth. This is the time that God is testing our character. Should we remain silent or should we speak the truth and speak out and have confidence in God? Don't let anyone to intimidate you. Allah is on your side because you are not doing something wrong. When you stand with those oppressed, God is going to back you up. God is going to protect you. Allahumma aghfir lil mu'minina wal mu'minat wal muslimina wal muslimat al ahya'i minhum wal ammat. Oh Allah, bring your victory and your aid to the oppressed people of Palestine and Gaza and West Bank. Oh Allah, bring them peace to the mothers who lost their kids, to the fathers, to the brothers, the sisters, the husbands, the wives who lost their family members. Oh Allah, bring solace and peace to their hearts. Bring them comfort, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Take them. Take those martyrs, more than 4,000 martyrs so far, and more than 15,000 wounded people. Take them under your wing, under your mercy, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. Oh Allah, bring peace to their hearts. They are without food, without water, without electricity, without medicine, without hospital. Oh Allah, you bring them the relief. And we know you are the healer of these wounds, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. And bring defeat to the enemies of mankind, your enemies, and the enemies of mankind. Allahumma aghfir lil mu'minina wal mu'minat wal muslimina wal muslimat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat. تابع اللهم بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك غافر الخطيئات إنك ماحي السيئات وجاعلها حسنات إنك على كل شيء قدير. For the innocent souls of the Gazans and the West Bank and the Palestinians and all those victims, Al-Fatiha مع الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.